khalwa. Khalwa is this state of just like aloneness and solitude with Allah. And some people will go to the mountains and to the caves to do this, right? For me, I've worked long and hard at meditation, and then prayer has come in a big way. I've studied Stoicism over the years, and I liked a lot of how their mindset was towards dealing with trouble, right? And so every time I pray, which is at least 5 times a day, I give myself 10 to 15 minutes in that prayer, or I try to. Because oftentimes it's like pray, get up, go. Right? We've all been through that time, whether you're revert or whether you've been here for your whole life. It's like, okay, I need to pray, and then I need to do the other thing, and then you go in your prayer and and your mind's thinking of 6 things. For me, my khalwa, my aloneness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's when I say Allahu Akbar, nothing else matters, right? My phone is not with me. I'm not worried about the number in my bank. I don't care if there's an emergency. This thing is more important, right? And so I would say to anyone that wants to develop this, if we call it sakina, this tranquility in your heart, this happens in prayer, because prayer is a physical outward thing, but prayer is also a deeply spiritual inward thing, right? And if you can lower yourself in prayer, you know, when you're in sujood, this is the point of ultimate submission, right? So I try to think to myself that in every moment of life, I'm in submission, right? My motto as a Muslim is surrender and love. I'm in surrender to all that's happening, and everything is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in my actions, I endeavor to love. I endeavor to spread love, because this is the way of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Could you get tactical on shutting the noise out during prayer? I think this is really, really important. I was interviewing a Revert brother I met at the mosque the other day. I'm in Indonesia right now. And he was from Jamaica, Revert, 27 years. He's been a Revert for 27 years. And he was telling me about how he just sees all of these kids on their phone, and then he watches them when they pray, and he sees a lack of presence in the prayer. And I think it comes from we're so overstimulated. We have so much stuff going on. So I can say as like a Gen Z, like I hear what you're saying. That makes sense. Be present in prayer. And then my brain goes, but how do I do that?
Yeah. So another modality that I found extremely useful, Canyon, and this starts to shift more towards my side as a holistic health practitioner, is the breath, right? I was, again, just recently amongst some of the greatest teachers, and they spoke about Ahla Nafas, meaning the people of the breath, and those who are conscious with every single breath. Now, of course, this can take us 40 years to get to, but if I give you really the tactical, when I'm in salah and when I want that stillness, I'm using my breath to slow me down, right? And the very, very, very simple way to do that is to make your exhale longer than your inhale. So if I just took you to do an inhale of 3 seconds and an exhale of 5 seconds, literally within 10 cycles, you're going to be calmer, right? There's an activation of the parasympathetic. And for me, when I have more calmness, more stillness, more tranquility, more sakina, ultimately, that's when I have more khushoo, more presence, more focus, right? Because oftentimes at the point that I say Allahu Akbar, there's still 15 things happening. But at the point when I say Assalamu alaikum, at that point I'm in stillness.
That seems so important right now. My generation specifically really struggles to unplug, right? We struggle to just be present just by ourselves and the angels and Allah, right? We live in this world right now where we feel almost uncomfortable being by ourselves. So we feel the need to constantly distract ourselves. And I think this is one of the biggest downfalls as a society, because it doesn't allow us that quietness that we need to grow, to compress, to think, to analyze, right? Think about how many people have a character trait they don't like about themselves, or an issue that they don't have, and they know they need to solve it, but they never give that time where they don't have some input, right? There's constant input. It allows them to never sit and think and analyze. And it's why when you ask people in my generation their opinion on things, a lot of times they go, I don't know, I don't have an opinion. And it's because they've never given themselves the 10 seconds to even think of an opinion on things. They just information.
We're being overloaded, Canyon. It's completely unnatural. You are 100% spot on. And this goes back to the French philosopher Pascal. He said all of man's problem arise because he cannot sit in a room by himself for 30 minutes, right? And the way I'm seeing this translate to our modern life in the dunya is that we are hyper connected to the world, but we're disconnected from ourselves, right? And it's that disconnection from ourselves, which is also, it's the disconnection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we come back to ourselves and when we come back to Allah, because this is the most important thing, right? This is where the opening happens. This is where the heart is connected, right? And this is where we see everything that's happening is beauty from Allah.